الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا وعظيمنا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين وأصحابه الغر الميامين. الحمد لله الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية سيدي ومولاي علي بن أبي طالب. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. أما بعد، يقول الله في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، لا إكراه في الدين. The first of our salawat in honor of Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. The second in honor of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. The third with your loudest voices in honor of the Imam of our time, Imam Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman. Respected scholars, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. La ikraha fi ad-din, there is no compulsion in religion, is arguably one of the most important verses in the Holy Quran. And a verse that requires a thorough examination, for it's a verse from which many fundamental lessons may be learned, and many fascinating examples may be derived, each and every one of them applicable into our lives today. Indeed, you find until today many non-Muslims ask the question: is the religion of Islam a religion of compulsion, a religion of indoctrination, a religion which forces you to worship the Lord? You find that one of the misconceptions many people have about the religion is that the religion is a religion which compels you to perform acts, that you have no rational process in understanding why you follow the religion, and that if you even contemplate leaving the religion of Islam, there is a good chance that you will be killed. Indeed, the religion and the man who brought the religion and the holy book of the religion, all of them are looked at in a way where people conclude that the religion of Islam is a religion of compulsion, not freedom. When it comes, for example, to the religion itself, people view the history of the religion, and they see many in an empire which forced people to become Muslims, forced Christians by the sword, or forced Jews by the sword, or forced mushriks by the sword to become Muslims. Then they see, for example, some of the quotes of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his family, that can be found in both Sunni and Shia literature. In the main books, quotes such as "Man baddala deenahu faqtuluh," whoever changes their religion, you must kill them. Then they look within the Holy Quran and they see that not only the man who brought the religion, but also the Quran itself seemingly indicates that anyone who's not a Muslim, you compel them to become one. And if they reject becoming a Muslim, then you must kill them. For example, Surah 9 verse 5, فَإِذَا انْسَلَخَ الْأَشْهُرُ الْحُرُمُ فَاقْتُلُوا الْمُشْرِكِينَ حَيْثُ وَجَدْتُمُوهُم. When the holy months or when the sacred months have passed, then kill the disbelievers wherever you see them. Therefore, whenever you meet anyone who discusses the religion of Islam with you, straight away they make it clear that is it true that your religion gives you no freedom of choice? That your religion is a religion where there is no conscience in terms of what you believe? That if you contemplate questioning or you contemplate moving away from the religion, that you could be beheaded? Imagine now, for example, your son comes to you and says to you, "Dad, in all honesty, I respect the Prophet Muhammad, but I don't believe in him as the final prophet of God. I prefer to follow Christ, and therefore I want to leave the religion of Islam." Can this person be allowed to leave the religion of Islam? If we were to say that the person is making a decision on the basis of his conscience, as in the person says that I've studied the life of the Prophet Muhammad and I've studied the life of the Prophet Jesus, and to me the Prophet Jesus is someone I want to revere not just as a prophet, but I want to follow him as the son of God, is that person allowed to leave the religion of Islam or no? Because this is a fundamental question that many of us are being asked. That if Islam claims to be a way of life, and if Islam focuses on the use of the intellect, then why is it that when a Muslim contemplates leaving the religion, you'll find that straight away they're threatened with death? As in how many countries in the Muslim world have you heard, such as countries like Egypt, Pakistan, other countries in the Muslim world, the moment someone may have said something, for example, such as, I believe in Jesus, not Muhammad, I'm an ex-Muslim, you hear straight away there should be a death penalty on that person. When we look at this area, we recognize very clearly that within the Quran, Ikrah means compulsion. Its derivatives are used in the Quran, and whenever they're used negatively. As in, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not like to see compulsion in any area. Compulsion, for example, let's say there's a contract you sign for a house. If someone's put a gun to your head to sign that contract, is the contract valid or no? No, of course not. Because part of Islamic law dictates that one of the things we say which has been removed as a burden, yes, on the Muslim, is that which they are compelled to do. Yes. You find, for example, if now someone's forced into a divorce. I don't want to divorce my wife, but I'm forced by my family to divorce my wife. Is the divorce accepted in fiqh? No, it's not. Because that divorce comes under ikrah. You are compelled to divorce. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likewise in the Quran you'll find, He says, وَلَا تُكْرِهُ فَتَيَاتِكُمْ عَلَى الْبِغَاءِ إِنْ أَرَدْنَا تَحَصُّنًا. Do not force your children into prostitution. Yes. There were Arabs who used to force their daughters to become prostitutes. Allah in the Quran said, and this is the Quran's words, not my words, just in case someone says that these words are words which we should not mention on Mimbar al-Hussein. We're quoting the Quran, not my dictionary. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, do not force your daughters into that. Secondly, there is another ayah in which the Quran says that if a person claims not to be a Muslim, yes, but they forced him to say this, in his heart he believes in Islam. Allah says, إِلَّا مَنْ أُكْرِهَ وَقَلْبُهُ مُطْمَئِنٌ بِالْإِيمَانِ. Yes, that those who are compelled to say they are not Muslim, does that mean they've left Islam? No. If someone's compelled to say that he's not a Muslim because there's a knife or a gun to his head, then that person does not leave the fold of Islam. Therefore, compulsion is seen negatively in the Quran. This particular ayah, whenever anyone brings it, you find that people always put ayahs alongside it. As in, there are people who'll say, okay, you're saying the ayah says, La ikraha fi الدين. How about the ayah in the Quran which says, إِنَّمَا جَزَاءُ الَّذِينَ يُحَارِبُونَ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ وَيَسْعَوْنَ فِي الْأَرْضِ فَسَادًا أن يقتلوا أو يصلبوا, yes, أو تقطعوا أيديهم وأرجلهم من خلاف أو ينفوا من الأرض. The ayah in the Quran which says anyone who fights Allah and His Prophet and performs fasad on the earth, they are to be killed, crucified, or their hands are all to be cut off, or they're to be banished. One ayah of the Quran says there's no compulsion in religion. Another ayah of the Quran says if you wage war against Allah and His Prophet, you can either crucify the person, or you could cut their hands and their feet, or what can you do? You could kill them, or you could banish them from the land. It's vital that Muslims critically engage the Quran and our literature. Why? Because I guarantee you there are many Muslims who did not know there's an ayah that says you can crucify and kill and cut someone's hands, all just because they offended the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, and his family. Many Muslims will tell you that my religion is a religion of peace. I don't know how peaceful it is when you're saying crucify people, but anyway, if you want to call it a religion of peace, the Quran is saying that you can crucify or cut someone's hands if they attack the Prophet. Then I'm saying there is no compulsion in religion. Is there a contradiction here? Because on the one hand, Allah is telling us do not compel, yes, in religion. On the other hand, Allah is saying when someone fights the Prophet, go ahead, go kill them. It's as if a person concludes that Islam is a religion of compulsion. If you want to stay within the religion, it's okay. And if you want to leave the religion, then you are to be killed. There is no choice whatsoever. And that's why you find within the books of fiqh, it makes it clear that there's a difference. There is a Muslim who's born a Muslim. He is born on the fitrah of Islam. There's a Muslim who converts and he becomes a Muslim. You look at the books of fiqh and they tell you if the Muslim who is born a Muslim decides to leave Islam, then they are to be killed. And if the revert joins Islam and he should then decide that he wants to leave Islam, you give them a few days to make up their mind, then you kill them. When someone looks at this, they ask themselves a question. That this makes sense? Someone who in his own conscience has reached the conclusion that this religion is not for me. I don't believe in your God. Yes, Dad, you're telling me there's a God. I don't believe in that God. Are we meant to kill that person because they sincerely have reached a stage or a conclusion like this? If someone tells their dad, I don't believe in the Imam of Ahlul Bayt. Yes, I believe in Nubuwwah. I believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I don't believe in the Imam of Ahlul Bayt. Can I kill that person? It tells me that that person, when they leave the religion, they're to be killed. When this person is now leaving a part of the religion, are they to be killed or not? Let's tonight examine this particular ayah of La Ikraha fi Deen, in order that we're able to understand the many debates that take place on this particular issue. And I'd like to examine it in the following stages. This part of Ayatul Kursi, when was it exactly revealed? And for which reasons did the ayah come down? Number two, what's the difference between Usul al-Din and Furu' al-Din? And how does the theory of rationality on Usul al-Din highlight that if a conscious human being wants to make a decision, they're more than welcome? Number three, how did the Prophet Muhammad's relations with non-Muslims highlight he did not want to compel any one of them to become Muslims, and that it was up to them whether they believed, and it was up to them whether they disbelieved? Number four, if a hadith tells you man baddala deenahu faqtuluh, whoever changes their religion, you should kill them, what does this relate to? A conscious change of religion, or the one who seeks to fight the religion in their change? Number five, which other verses in the Quran highlight that there is no issue with a person believing in what they believe? And which of the maraji' today believe that some of the laws of apostasy have to be contextualized? Number six, is La Ikraha fi Deen in the laws of the religion or in the pillars of the religion? And can a person turn around and say, I don't want to do this obligatory act because the Quran says there's no compulsion, I'll do it when I'm ready? Number seven, how important therefore was freedom of thought in the eyes of Al-Muhammad? And how did each of the companions of Imam al-Hussein highlight that none of them were compelled to be at Karbala? Let's examine this and dissect the topic in complete depth. Millions of Muslims in the world have recited this part of Ayatul Kursi. I don't think I've met anyone who has not recited La Ikraha fi Deen, قَدْ تَبَيَّنَ الرُّشْدُ مِنَ الْغَيِّ. When a person looks at this part of Ayatul Kursi, automatically someone assumes that this part of Ayatul Kursi, there is no compulsion in religion, must have a reason for revelation. As in, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not just going to put 5 words and say, La ikraha fi Deen for no reason. The reason for the revelation of this ayah is a fascinating reason. In Arabia, in Medina especially, when the woman of Medina could not have a child, some of these women, what did they decide to do? They decided that they're going to make a vow. Any child that comes to them, they're going to dedicate that child to the Jewish religion. Yes. So for example, I myself, I don't believe in Judaism, but I cannot give birth. So now I think to myself that I'm going to dedicate a child towards the Jews. Why? The Jews were the most powerful in Medina. Banu Qaynuqa, Banu Qurayza, Nadir, Fadak, Khaybar, these were all Jewish communities. And these Jewish communities were extremely powerful. They were religious in their own way, but at the same time, they were the best of businessmen. And you found that they were using their power to influence many in Medina. These women were thinking, hold on, maybe our pagan beliefs are not helping us have a child. Let's dedicate our children to the Jewish religion. And many of them would, as in many of these miqtals, when they would be pregnant, they'd say, you know what, I'm going to dedicate my child to the Jewish religion. The moment that child would be born, he would become Jewish and they would be part of the Jewish religion. Some of them would become Christian and they'd be part of the Christian religion. What happened was later on, when the Holy Prophet came to Medina, many of the Ansar came towards the religion of Islam. Yes, as in many of these people who originally used to fight each other. You know, the Aus and the Khazraj used to fight for the pettiest reasons. Why is your cow staring at my sheep? And you know, things like this. You know, you often fight about things like that. So you found that these people were fighting over the pettiest reasons. A war would take place for 100 years because the way you served me that coffee from Yemen, you should have shaken the cup a bit harder. You didn't shake it properly. There's a war for about another 96 years after that. When the Aus and the Khazraj eventually came to the Prophet, they came to the Prophet, peace be upon him, and said, listen, for years we've been living on superstitious beliefs. Come to Medina. If the people of Mecca do not respect you, if the people of Mecca do not honor you, come stay with us. When the Prophet therefore took over Medina and became the governor, you found that many began to come to Islam. Amongst them were some of these ladies, part of the family. These ladies would come to the Prophet. They said, Ya Rasulullah, in our days of Jahiliyyah, when we wouldn't be able to give birth, what we would do was, we would dedicate our child towards the Jewish religion. That if our child is born, then we allow our child to be in the religion of the Jewish community. Ya Rasulullah, can we now force our children to become Muslim? As in, they're still our kids, and we still see them, but we're ashamed of our behavior. And now we want to go towards them, and we want to force them to say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. You would think the Holy Prophet, if he's a man who wants to spread a religion by the sword, or a religion that's all about power, a religion that's all about numbers, you would think the Holy Prophet would turn around that moment and say, of course you force them. I am the Prophet of God, and they have to be part of my religion. The Holy Prophet turned around and said that there is no compulsion in religion. Allah has just revealed the verse to me. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. La ikraha fi الدين. There is no compulsion in religion. Your sons and daughters are Jewish. You cannot force them to come towards the religion of Islam. If they want to join the religion, it's up to them. They're more than welcome. If they want to go against the religion, meaning they want to stay with their religion, there's no harm whatsoever. She said, but Ya Rasulullah, I feel responsible because these are my kids, and now I want them to come towards Islam. He said, does not matter. Their rational conclusions led them to Judaism. Whether you put them in Judaism, they can remain within Judaism, or they could come and join our religion as well. It's as if part of the prophetic teaching was, as long as they have some sort of ideology, it means they have some sort of principle. And as long as they have some sort of principle, it means that they will not let morals go out of society. Yes? Because even now, for example, if I see a Jewish member of society today in Leicester, or in London, or up north, or south, wherever, there are many people who are upright Jewish community members. People who we've done business with who have not scammed us as much as the Muslims have scammed us, yes? As in, I guarantee you, there are Muslims who stabbed you in the back, and the front, and the left, and the right. Whereas you'd find that there are members of the Jewish community who have been upright, excellent in their ways, have morals, respectful. Here the Prophet was highlighting, okay, you may have made a mistake when your child was born by dedicating it, but now you don't force your children to come towards Islam. No. I will present the teachings of Islam. If they want to follow, they could follow. And if they don't want to follow, it's completely up to them. Another Christian man came to the Prophet, a Syrian Christian. His two sons left Islam and they joined Christianity. Now this is an interesting area. Why? Because surely if they've left Islam and they've joined Christianity, and some narrations mentioned that they were Christians and the father was Muslim, he said to them, that can I force my sons towards Islam? Can I compel them? The Holy Prophet turned around and said, La ikraha fi الدين. There is no compulsion in religion. Others also have an opinion. What do they say? Others have an opinion where they say that there is no compulsion in religion. Also refers to which idea? That it's as if Rasulullah was saying to the Christians and the Jews in Medina that there is no compulsion to join this religion. But what is missing from what I'm teaching you, which is not making you change, yes? Some come to the conclusion that La Ikraha fi Din was part of a longer paragraph, where the Prophet wasn't just saying, okay, La Ikraha fi Din, you don't have to join Islam. There's no compulsion, you're right. But why aren't you joining the religion of Islam? قَدْ تَبَيَّنَ الرُّشْدُ مِنَ الْغَيِّ. As in, surely the truth is becoming manifest and error is completely different. The main point of the ayah therefore was what? That your children, if they are Christian, they are Jewish, you cannot force them to become Muslims. And that's why in the school of Ahl al-Bayt, we make a distinction between usul al-Din and furu' al-Din. What do we mean? We all know furu' al-Din are how many? Salah, Sawm, Hajj, Khum, Zakat, Jihad, Amr bil Ma'ruf, Nahi anil Munkar, Tawalla, Tabarra. All of these are the furu', 10 in total. Al-usul al-Din are how many? Tawheed, Adl, Nubuwwah, Imama and Qiyamah, or the Ma'ad. The 5 usul al-Din and the 10 furu' al-Din. In the furu' al-Din, I have to do taqleed of a marja. Do you agree? Yes. Unless I myself am a mujtahid, I have to do taqleed of a marja. Why? Because I have not mastered the chapters on khums, the chapters on inheritance, the chapters on zakat. I have not mastered the chapters on Hajj even. How many of you, when you go on Hajj, you will go on that bus ride and you will ask question, is this allowed? What's the kafara? What's this? What if I did this? And so on. So on the furu', I do taqleed. On usul al-Din, do I do taqleed? Do I say, I follow Ayatollah Sistani, may Allah lengthen his life. I follow him because he taught me Tawheed, that's why I follow Tawheed? No, not at all. In Adala, Nubuwwah, Imama, Qiyamah, in the school of Ahl al-Bayt, is it that I make a conscious decision to reach a conclusion on my religion? Or is it that I imitate my parents or imitate my scholars? Yes. My scholars will provide me brilliant theological texts to study. Mufid, Hilli, Sharif al-Murtada, Shahid al-Awwal, Shahid al-Thani, Saduq, Kulaini. They'll provide me brilliant books of theology. But do I do taqleed in the usul al-Din or no? No. Why not? Because if you force someone to believe in Tawheed without explaining it to them properly, what is the meaning of God's existence? Whenever you force a human, the human rebels against the force that's been put on them. Yes. If now you force a human to believe in Tawheed, that person's Tawheed will never be there. Yes. That person's Tawheed and the understanding of Tawheed will never be there. As in, why would Rasulullah want to force you to become a Muslim, put a sword to your neck, when putting a sword is not going to help the religion? At the end of the day, the belief is not you saying La ilaha illallah publicly, it's in your heart. In usul al-Din, a Muslim can believe what they want to believe. If they don't reach the conclusion that Islam is the religion of God, they are entitled to, in their conscience, say that I don't believe in this. Yes. Someone may turn around and say, what do you mean? Are you going to allow people to leave Islam? It's not about allowing people to leave Islam. La ikraha fi din applies to the theology of the religion. That I cannot compel someone to believe in that which I believe. Yes. My son now, I discuss with him Tawheed, and that's why the onus is on the parents. Because I tell you, there are parents, they won't be able to prove to you imamah from the Quran or imamah from hadith. I guarantee you. You sit with some parents, he's got a son and a daughter, one's 16, the other's 18. I guarantee you, not one day in the life of their son or their daughter did those parents ever once sit down and say, let me show you from the Quran, and let me logically explain to you imamah. I remember in Sydney, Australia, a few years ago, I was giving majalis. They said to me that there is this young man who was Shia, and he's gone and joined another school of the religion of Islam. Would you come home and discuss with him? I went home, I discussed with the person. I said to him, so you were Shia? He said, yes, I was Shia. Why did you leave? He said to me, you know what? No one really explained to me the faith. I found a mosque somewhere else, and I joined that place. His parents were telling me, tell him he has to stay Shia and he can't leave being Shia. I said, no, not at all. At the end of the day, if his conclusion is that he doesn't believe in the idea of the Quran and the Ahl al-Bayt as the two weighty things to hold on to after Rasulullah died, and he is willing to take a solitary narration of Quran and Sunnah, that's between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They said, no, but you have to force him. I said, I'm not going to force him. Ultimately, Quran said, La ikraha fi din. You do not force someone to stay on your madhab. No. That person comes through 2 areas to reach a conclusion. Their aql and their naql. Please understand this delicate point. in Islamic theology, we don't just believe you reach a conclusion about religion through the Quran. No. Whatever you find in law, you'll find in the intellect. Whatever you'll find in theology, you'll find a moral presupposition on this area. Islam, when it came to discuss the usul al-Din, did not want a group of blind followers. How many Muslims you have in the world today, I guarantee you, if they were born into a different household, they would not be followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. I tell you, yes. There are many Muslims in the world today, if he was born into a house where his mother's called Aisha and his father is called, for example, Zubair, I believe you me, he would still be from Ahlul Sunnah. Or if he was born, for example, in a house, the mother's called, for example, let's say the mother is called what? The mother is called Mary, and the father is called, let's say, the father's called John. They're in a Christian household. I guarantee you that there are many out there who would not have come towards Ahlul Bayt. Why do I say this? Because there are many who are not followers of Ahlul Bayt simply because they read about it. There are many who are followers of Ahlul Bayt because they're scared that if they leave the Ahlul Bayt, their parents will get them in trouble. They'll look bad in front of the community. You say to him, you know how to prove Al-Muhammad? Do you know how to prove it through the Quran? Do you know how to prove it through the teachings of Ahlul Bayt? He'll say to you, listen, I'm only following what my parents followed. My parents for years told me that I have to follow this madhab and I'm going to stay on that path. You say to him, but you are not concerned to understand your theology. That's why when the Quran said there is no compulsion in religion, when they came to the Prophet, peace be upon him and his family, he made it clear, just because your children are Christian, you can't force them to become Muslim. And even if your children are Muslim, they want to leave the religion of Islam, you're 18-year-old, you're 21-year-old, you're 27-year-old, then they can leave the religion as they want. Someone says, where? I remember when the Hudaybiyah Treaty was signed. When the Hudaybiyah Treaty was signed, one of the conditions on the treaty was, if a Muslim wants to leave Medina, so he goes to Mecca and leaves Islam, we will hand him back to you. And if a Qurayshi wants to come towards Medina and live in Medina, there is no harm. They can come to Medina and stay in Medina, and we can even send him back to you as well. Nowhere in the Hudaybiyah Treaty does the Prophet, peace be upon him and his family, say a Muslim who leaves Islam should be killed. Why? The Prophet did not want people who are part of the religion, who are only part of it because they're scared if they leave, they're going to get killed. I want people who are part of this religion, who believe in the ethos that I came with in relation to akhlaq, in relation to spirituality, who believe in me truly as an exemplar, not someone who's just in the religion because of the status quo. Oh, it's cool to become a Muslim, I'm just going to join. Because you know that was what was happening. People were joining Islam. Why? Oh, everybody else is now becoming a Muslim. I'm going to be cool, I'll become a Muslim as well. When the Hudaybiyah Treaty was signed, what took place? When the Hudaybiyah Treaty was signed, the Prophet Muhammad said, if there are Muslims who want to leave Islam, then let them go. They can leave Islam as they want to. Those Muslims who come to me today and say, if a Muslim leaves Islam, we have to kill them. What nonsense are you talking about? Yes, what nonsense? There is a conscience of the human being. The human being cannot be forced to follow a religion. The human being can certainly make inquiries. You want to ask me why I follow Ahlul Bayt? I'll prove it to you through the Quran. I'll prove it to you through hadiths of every school in Islam. But ultimately, it's up to you. Therefore, in the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, number 1, the Prophet said, if any Muslims want to leave, they can leave. Number 2, if the Prophet was compelling people to join religions, then he would have destroyed churches. Yes, if the Prophet wanted all of the people to become Muslims, he would have destroyed the churches of Medina. There was a famous church known as the Church of Najran. The Church of Najran belonged to about 40,000 people from Yemen, Christians. These Christians had seen the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him and his family, had now become in charge of the Islamic State. So they came to what? They heard a letter that was sent by him. Peace be upon you, O Christian community. I am Muhammad, messenger of God. I invite you to the way of Jacob and David and Solomon and Joseph and Moses and Jesus. I love the introduction to this letter, by the way, because it highlights never make the prophet separate from the other prophets. He is the conclusion of the prophets. He then begins like that. He says, I welcome you to come and meet me. Those Christians, when they received the letter, they thought to themselves, hold on, people told us this man, if you're not a Muslim, will behead you. This man's written a letter to us saying, why don't you come and meet me? Let's discuss. When these Christians came, they sat with him. They came and they sat. And when they sat with him, they said to him, Muhammad, we want to ask you a couple of questions. He said, feel free, ask me whatever you'd like. They said to him, Muhammad, who's Moses' father? He said, Imran. He said, okay. And who's Yusuf's father? He said, Yaqub. He said, okay. And who's your father? He said, Abdullah. He said, okay. Who's Jesus' father? He said, he had no father. He said, there you go. They said to him, there you go. Then Jesus is greater than you because he had no father. He's a miracle. The Prophet replied with Surah 3 verse 59. Inna mathala Isa inda Allahi kamathali Adam. The example of Jesus in the eyes of God is the same as that of Adam. خلقه من تراب ثم قال له كن فيكون. He created him from clay and he said to him, be and it will be. As in when a Christian comes to me and says, Jesus is greater than Muhammad because Jesus had no father, Adam should be greater than all of them. Adam didn't even have a father or a mother. If anyone deserves to be son of God in their conclusion logically, then it should be Prophet Adam. When these Christians heard this, they still said, you know what, we're still uncertain of your prophethood. So the rushd is not clear from the ghay, the truth is not clear from the error. No problem. Do you want to enter a mubahala with us? They said to him, yes, we'll enter a mubahala, because you know mubahala is when you invoke the curse of Allah on whoever of the two is a disbeliever. These thousands represented Christianity. The Prophet Muhammad, he said, and the Quran told him, فَمَنْ حَاجَّكَ فِيهِ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَكَ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ فَقُلْ تَعَالَوْا نَدْعُ أَبْنَاءَنَا وَأَبْنَاءَكُمْ وَنِسَاءَنَا وَنِسَاءَكُمْ وَأَنفُسَنَا وَأَنفُسَكُمْ ثُمَّ نَبْتَهِلْ فَنَجْعَلْ لَعْنَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَى الْكَاذِبِينَ. We'll bring our sons, you bring your sons. We'll bring our woman, you bring your woman. We'll bring ourselves, you bring yourselves. And then what will we do? We will ask Allah to curse the liars of amongst us. Why would he resort to that? Because he wanted to show them, this is how confident I am that I am the prophet of God. And if you believe I'm a false prophet, invoke Allah to curse me. And I will invoke Allah to curse you. The Christian leaders, when they went back, they all said to each other, I wonder, this man Muhammad, he really seems confident about his belief. But let's see one thing. Someone said what? Said if Muhammad tomorrow brings his companions, we'll enter a mubahala with him. Whereas if he brings his family, we will not enter a mubahala with him. Because a man who's willing to sacrifice his family for a religion is definitely a man of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes? It's a fundamental principle none of us should forget. A man who takes his family to represent a religion is definitely a man of God. Because he's willing to take his own flesh to be the symbols of the religion. The next day, Quran, when it said bring your sons, he brought Imam Hassan and Imam al-Hussein. When it said bring your woman, which other woman but Fatima did he bring? When it said bring yourselves, he brought Ali. I remember Muawiyah bin Abi Sufyan. If you look in Sahih al-Bukhari, this narration is very interesting. Muawiyah asks Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas, father of Umar, Umar bin Sa'ad, commander of the armed forces on the 10th of Muharram in Yazid's army. Muawiyah says to him, why don't you curse Abu Turab? Why don't you curse Abu Turab? This is in Sahih al-Bukhari. Any of you want to see it today? Muawiyah asks Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas, who's one of the 10 promised Jannah, according to the beliefs of some schools in Islam, why don't you curse Ali ibn Abi Talib? And I sometimes wonder what type of Jannah we're going to have. The curser and the cursed and the killer and the killed. Everybody will end up, inshallah, in Jannah. So he says to him, why don't you curse Ali? And he mentions, I will never curse the son of Abu Talib. And one of the reasons was on the day of Mubahala, Rasulullah chose him as his nafs on that day. Yes? Now, when the Christians saw these 5 coming, what did the Christians do? The Christians looked up towards these 5. They noticed that they were the family of Rasulullah. So they all called out that we will not enter a mubahala with you, O Muhammad. When someone asked them why, they said to them, because the amount of light that shines from the faces of those 5, if it told a mountain to move, the mountain would move from its position. Yes? That's the light of Al-Muhammad salawatullah wa salamu alayhima. Allah. Here is the point. These Christians, was the sword put on their neck to become Muslim? Because if Islam is a religion that compels you to join, Was there a sword put on their neck? No. You know what the Prophet Muhammad said? Keep your church, no problem. Ya Rasulullah, the church has Jesus on a cross. Ya Rasulullah, the church has Jesus being praised as the Son of God. Surely you can't let them have a church there. No, on the contrary. I'm not going to compel these people to join Islam. Yes, at the end of the day, it's up to them. If they believe my words are the words of God, let them believe. And if they don't believe, then there's no harm in them having a church. That person was walking with Imam Ali one day, he saw a church. He said, I wonder, Imam, how much shirk is being done in that church? Imam said, I wonder how much people are worshipping Allah in that church. There's a difference between those who see the world half empty and half full. If the Prophet Muhammad wanted Islam to be spread through compulsion, that I put a sword on your neck and say you're either with us or against us, then this religion would not have got as far as it got today, believe you me. This religion spread because of the akhlaq of this holy prophet, the spirituality of this prophet, not because he put that sword. And that's why I always say, look at his treaties. When the Prophet Muhammad signs a treaty with the Christian community, if he believes Christians are to be killed or to be compelled to join Islam, then why would he sign a treaty with them? That treaty of Hudaybiyah or that treaty of Mubahala, these were treaties which highlighted that the Prophet Muhammad had no intention to have a community that is a community that compels someone to believe in their way. And that's why when you look within the Holy Quran, you find numerous verses which make it clear that what? That there is no compulsion in religion. You can believe what you want to believe. For example, the ayah in the Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ. Whoever wants to believe, let them believe. Whoever wants to disbelieve, let them disbelieve. Another ayah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ لَا أَعْبُدُ مَا تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم ولي دين. To you is your religion and to mine is mine. When the Prophet Muhammad therefore was trying to spread this religion, the principles on which it was spread was not to put a sword on people and behead them. Yes. Someone says, but wait, in the Quran it mentions, for example, in Surah 9 verse 5, فَاقْتُلُوا الْمُشْرِكِينَ حَيْثُ وَجَدْتُمُوهُم. Kill the disbelievers wherever you see them. If you're saying this religion was not spread by compulsion, why would the Quran say kill the disbelievers? No, those were a group of the disbelievers who ambushed a group of the Muslims after the treaty and beheaded them. Those people were given a chance to repent, but none of them repented. And the next ayah, because the media outlets only mention verse 5, they don't mention the next ayah. The next ayah says that if any of those people come to ask you about Islam, this is a wonderful ayah. If any of the polytheists come to ask you about Islam, then listen to what they have to say. Because you know many people, maybe they attacked Islam because of what? Because of misconceptions about Islam, because of rumors about Islam. Don't straight away kill them because they are your enemy. Let them talk, listen to them. Let them rationally understand the religion. Don't put a sword onto their neck. Someone says, for example, how about قَاتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ الَّذِينَ يُقَاتِلُونَكُمْ? How about the verse in the Quran which says, kill in the way of God those who kill you? That is what we call preemptive measures, not going with a sword to kill people. What's a preemptive measure? Every country in the world believes in a preemptive measure. Wallah, you go to the United States, you go to the UK, anywhere. You know what a preemptive measure is? Of course, in those days, there's no borders. Today, after Nuremberg and Geneva, we have borders on countries. In those days, there's no borders. So what would take place? On the border, sometimes the Prophet would capture a caravan of the opposition which was carrying weapons. Some academics said that's Muhammad and his barbaric sword-like manner that he attacks first. No, it's a preemptive measure. I got to make sure if anyone's around my border, I can't let someone walk around with an AK-47 on my border of my country. Yes? There in those days, Khaybar, or at Tabuk, the Prophet Muhammad, if he started something, it wasn't starting a war. Rather, he was taking a preemptive measure to make sure that all the borders are surrounded and all the borders are protected. However, to find a situation where the Prophet Muhammad comes forward and tells Muslims, you know what, let's just randomly go to a place and behead anyone who's not part of this religion, it's absurd. Someone says there's an ayah, there's a hadith that says, "Man baddala deenahu faqtuluh." This is fundamental. Whoever changes their religion, kill them. Yes. You'll find this hadith in Sunni and Shia literature. Firstly, my dear brothers and sisters, not any hadith that you read, you just take and say, therefore, look, Islam is like this. A hadith requires a science of discussion, of reliability. I agree with you on the face of this hadith. It's very clear that one may argue that this hadith is saying, listen, your brother, if he decides to become a Christian, I'm talking literally your blood brother, if he decides to be a Christian, one may interpret this as saying, you got to kill them there and then. Imagine now, for example, your daughter comes and says, Dad, I'm not interested in Islam, doesn't make any sense to me, I want to become a Christian. The hadith says from the Prophet, "Man baddala deenahu faqtuluh." Whoever has changed their religion, you must kill them. Do we accept this? Within Ahl Sunnah and within the Shia, you will find that many of the ulama give a context to this hadith. Please bear with me on this point. There are three types of people who may join Islam and leave Islam. One person is a Muslim who his conscience tells him that I don't believe in this religion. They leave, they don't go and cause havoc. They just say, listen, it's just not for me, and I leave. A second one joined Islam to destroy it, and then left Islam. Yes. A third one left Islam, and now is going around cursing the Prophet Muhammad and cursing the Quran. Do you agree there's a difference between all three of these? Because one of them is a hur, a second one is what? Someone who is involved in causing rebellion, and the third is a fasid. The first of them, if they leave Islam, when they leave Islam, they leave without causing trouble. They're just saying, listen, I just don't, the usul al-din, I just do not go with. Yes, I don't agree with. That person is not to be killed, because the context of such traditions, according to notable ulama, is anyone who reads the works of Ayatollah Sani'i in Qum. Ayatollah Sani'i, amongst others, has brilliant discussions on this area. That if a Muslim leaves Islam, are they to be killed? Or do we apply La Ikraha fi al-Din, qad tabayyana ar-rushdu min al-ghayy? What does he say? So if you look at these hadiths are not referring to the one who has made a conscious decision to leave. These refer to two types of people. The first of them, friends of Abu Sufyan, who joined the religion of Islam. They sit with the Prophet Muhammad. How are you? We love you. We this, we that. They take the secrets of what's happening. They then say, well, you know what? It's not for me, this religion. I'm leaving. We call that treason in law. Yes. You know what treason is. Until about 15 years ago, even this country used to have laws of killing someone who commits treason. Why? That person has already signed that they will be a good member of society, and then all of a sudden you find that they leave society, they join what? They join Abu Sufyan. That person, baddal deenahu, yes they did. They changed their religion, of course they did. That person, if they are captured, they are to be what? They are to be taken to the judge of law. The judge of law where? In an Islamic state, not in Leicester's High Street. Understand this point. A few years ago, I heard that there's Sharia now in parts of Bethnal Green and Whitechapel. You heard about this? There's now Sharia law. You know, you have Mufti supermarket and Mufti, hairdresser, and all of them have now become muftis. Yes. So they're walking around the streets of Whitechapel. If they see someone without hijab, sister, you must wear hijab. You have to wear hijab. Quran says the following ayah. And he starts chanting Arabic for some reason to an English person. Then you have, for example, others who will come and police you. Brother, for example, your t-shirt is too short. Therefore, according to the Ammar bil Ma'ruf and Nahi Munkar Police Force Chief Inspector Wiggum, we have to kill you, for example. You have people like this. I remember even in Hajj, a person, once we were reading dua, and a person came up to me and he's like, this is bid'ah what you are doing. Yes, he said, what do you mean it's bid'ah? Said that what you're doing is not part of religion. Rasulullah never used to read dua in a group. He used to read individually. I said, who are you? He said, I'm Ammar bil Ma'ruf Nahi Munkar Police Force of Saudi Arabia. Said, what do you say to people like that? What do you say? Now, those types of people, you'll see them within our communities, within our societies. When you see these people, they're not the ones who make a decision about someone who leaves Islam. The one who makes the decision is the highest person in the Islamic state, not in Leicester, not in Portugal, not in, for example, Zimbabwe, not in Puerto Rico. A person who is in the Islamic state. If we could say, in the absence of the 12th Imam, there is an Islamic state. And the ulama differ that only in the time of a ma'soom an infallible or non-ma'soom. Because you could end up having a situation where a non-ma'soom may commit dhulm on someone who leaves the religion, whereas the ma'soom would never commit dhulm on someone. Yes, I remember Shaykh al-Tusi has a discussion where he makes it clear, if someone leaves the religion of Islam, they've gone to a country of non-Muslims, you leave the person alone. Don't follow them and chase them and try and kill them and batter them. Let the person be free. But they said to him, Shaykh, you know, the person left Islam. Said they left Islam, they're not causing trouble for anyone. There's a second type of person, they're causing trouble, they make fun of the Prophet, and so on. That person, it moves from apostasy to what is known as muharaba. Now you are fighting Rasulullah. It's a different law. And that's something we should not confuse. There's a difference between the law of the one who leaves Islam and the law of the one who leaves and actively fights Rasulullah. That's the difference. I can leave the religion today. Let's say I turn around to my parents and I say, well, you know what? The religion is not for me. I'm not going to go around and curse the Prophet Muhammad. I'll say, listen, you know, I'm reading the books of Kalam and it's not for me this particular way. However, if I go around, I say that Prophet Muhammad is a pedophile, that Prophet Muhammad is a man of war, that person is waging a war against the religion of Islam. That person, we never said to you there's a problem you leaving the religion. But when you now come and blaspheme the head of any religion, and mind you, if a Muslim blasphemes the head of another religion, that Muslim as well should be punished. Because there has to be a level of respect and decency between those who respect religions and the heads of religions. Then you have a third type. What's the third type? The third type is the one who actively goes around trying to cause trouble on this area. Therefore, when the Quran said, La ikraha fi din, someone asked the question, La ikraha fi din means you can't force me to pray salah. Now many youth are sitting down thinking, if my dad ever again tells me wake up for Fajr, I'll tell him, La ikraha fi din. Correct? I guarantee you there are many. I remember there are many who come up to me and say, you know what, I would do this act, but Allah says, La ikraha fi din, so you can't force me to do it. La ikraha fi din, according to a number of ulama, refers to the usul al-din, not the furu'. Yes. Usul al-din, there's no compulsion in religion. You have to find your own understanding of tawheed and adal and nubuwah. The moment you accept the usul, you must submit to the furu' of the religion. Yes. A person cannot say, I'm a Muslim, but you know this one area over here, it's not for me yet. When I'm about 61, I'll do it, insha'Allah. No, you can't. Al-Islam, Ali ibn Abi Talib says, Al-Islam huwa al-taslim, wa al-taslim huwa al-yaqeen. Islam means to submit to the laws of Allah once you've done that shahada. Yes? You can't turn around and say, well, I'm a Muslim, but there's certain areas of my life I want to do, I want to experience, I want to be of that particular way, for example. The moment you join the religion of Islam, you follow the laws. And that's why when people come to me, for example, say, I wanted my daughter to wear hijab, but, you know, I thought to myself, let her in her own time. Yes, when she's ready, she'll be the one who wears the hijab. You can't. There's no such thing as when she's ready. Yes. The moment your daughter has accepted this religion, then she has to submit to the laws of the religion when they are part of her life, not up to her when she decides. No one can turn around and say, well, you know what, I'm not ready. Or the classic line which I've heard. This is the classic of the classic. The line which says what? The line which says, well, you know what, I wanted her to wear hijab, but I'm scared she might take it off. So I told her, make sure you wear it only when you're ready to commit. This is the religion of who? Whose religion you got this in? Which religion? Show me where's this book you got this from? Said, no, I want her to respect it fully. So, well, according to who? You're now making decisions, who joins, when they join, how they join, when they respect. Who are you? No. Your daughter, you encourage her to wear. If she decides to take it off later on, it's her own choice. But the religion says that she has to keep it and has to wear it. It's obligatory. You can't turn around and say, no, well, she wasn't ready because she might take it off. So I told her, when you're older, because I know you won't take it off. And say, you bought the religion or Allah bought the religion? I'm trying to understand. If you bought the religion, you make your own laws. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that in the usul, you're open to make your own decisions. But when it comes to the furu', in the area of the furu', you must submit to the laws of the religion of Islam. You cannot turn around and say, well, the Quran says there's no compulsion. That means I don't need to pray, I don't need to fast until I'm ready. No, Quran says, La ikraha fi din, in tawheed, in adala, in nubuwah, in imama, in qiyamah. Whereas in the fiqh, a person must pray, for these are the daruriyat and the fasting and so on. Someone therefore asked the question, so what did Islam want in the religion? Islam wanted people who made their own choice as to how to be part of a religion. Islam did not want people to be compelled to be joining armies or to be forced to be compelled. And I don't deny, our history is full of rubbish. Our history is full of rubbish. There are khulafa in our history of different empires who absolutely made a fool of this religion the way they compelled people to join Islam. There are Christians who were forced to join Islam, Jews who were forced to join Islam, who were mocked in joining Islam. And I guarantee you that those who come and tell me that I'm scared of your religion because your religion forces people to do things, I agree with you. If my religion was about its followers, even I would run away from my religion. Yes, because when you look at some of the history of our school, when you look at the religion of Islam, you'll find that we've had moments where the sword was literally placed on people if they did not believe in what the empire believed. Yes, I'll never forget Abdullah bin Khabbab ibn al-Arat. Khabbab ibn al-Arat was a great companion of the Prophet, peace be upon him, his family. Abdullah, his son, was one of the lovers of Amir al-Mu'mineen, a true Shia of Ali. Abdullah bin Khabbab was married to this lady, and they were walking one day in the street. Where? Baghdad. Who was in charge of Baghdad? All day ISIS, the Khawarij. Yep. This world is all about examples repeating themselves. The same thing happened in Mosul, same thing happened in Ramadi, same thing happened in Fallujah, same exact word for word. That those who tell me that Islam is a religion of peace, wallah, that comedian was right when he said, yes, it's a religion of peace. A peace here, a peace there, and a peace everywhere. The very soul of the religion destroyed by that filth and the scum over there. We found Abdullah bin Khabbab ibn al-Arat was walking with his wife, and there was this person who was walking, who was one of the polytheists who was living in Baghdad at the time, someone mushrik of a different belief. They were both walking. Abdullah bin Khabbab ibn al-Arat was walking, and one of these soldiers came. You see them all now with their flags, La ilaha illallah, and so on. He came to the mushrik, and he said to him, what's your religion? He said, I'm mushrik. I said, okay. Go ahead, go. So what do you mean go? So go, it's fine. Continue traveling. Because you know their policy is all about stopping you at checkpoints. Yeah? Go. Abdullah bin Khabbab was next to him, and his wife was pregnant, she was next to him. He said, who are you? He said, I'm Abdullah, son of Khabbab ibn al-Arat, companion of the Prophet Muhammad. He said to him, okay, what's your inclination now? He said, I'm a Shia of Ali ibn Abi Talib. He said, oh, you're one of the Shia of Ali? He said, yes. He said, okay, your wife is pregnant? He said, yeah. He said, guards, come here. Get him and the wife. They sliced open the stomach of the wife. Sliced. And then they beheaded him. They threw. One of the soldiers who was next to him asked him, he said to him, the mushrik you let go, but what about this guy? He said, no, because the Quran told me to let the mushrik go. What do you mean? So the Quran says, وَإِنْ أَحَدٌ مِّنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ اسْتَجَارَكَ فَأَجِرْهُ حَتَّى يَسْمَعَ كَلَامَ اللَّهِ. If any mushrik comes to ask you for something, then give them security and then tell them about Allah. He said, how about that man? He said, no, that man is a person outside of the religion. He said, but this is a mushrik. He said, yeah, but Quran told me. Quran said the mushrik, let him go. But these people, I put the sword to him. He didn't accept our madhab. I beheaded him. That person gave the worst image to the religion. For 1,000 years, because of these people, you had people who were forced with the sword to become Muslims. The Quran had said, La ikraha fi الدين. He forgets that ayah. The Quran had said, فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ. He forgets that ayah. The Quran said, لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِينِ. He forgets. Just the ayah of mushrik, he let the guy go. Simply because of what? Shi'i of Ali must be beheaded. Subhanallah, the same thing in Mosul. They stop you in that area, and they were stopping people in Fallujah and Ramadi and Tikrit. What are you? What's your madhab? Behead, behead, behead. When the Quran says, La ikraha fi الدين. There's no compulsion in religion. That person is not following your madhab. You kill him, you slice him open. Surely the religion did not envisage for it to go in that direction. And more. And what do you think led to Karbala? What Yazid bin Muawiyah forcing anyone who does not submit to him, either you submit to me or I'll behead you. Quran said, La ikraha fi الدين. Does not matter. If Hussein bin Ali is in Medina, I want his head in Medina. Abu Abdullah leaves Medina, goes towards Mecca. He tells him, I want his head even if it's near the Kaaba. Firstly, that Kaaba was created in honor of his grandfather, not your grandfather. Secondly, we have a law by the Kaaba, even the mosquito has to be honored by the one who is going around the Kaaba. I don't care. I don't care what you tell me. Yazid, la ikraha fi الدين. There's no compulsion in religion. Does not matter. I'm killing this person. He tells his governor, kill him. And you find Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam cannot even finish Hajj that year. Why? That wasn't Yazid part of the religion of Islam? Of course, he was seen as the Muslim Khalifa. But if a Muslim does not recognize the importance of freedom of religion, then like anyone else, we can become the most barbaric. And that's why when Abu Abdullah went towards Karbala, you found that the symbol of his message was what? I haven't compelled any of you to join me. Those of you who believe in my madhab, I'm honored that you've joined me. Those of you who want to go home, you're more than welcome to go home.